I think the theme of this Congress is clear to you all. It's about being loud. And we need to be loud. We need to be loud because people out there have to hear us, because we have something to tell them. So we have to be loud for people, yes, for planet, for Europe, but we also have to be loud for freedom. What we're seeing right now across Europe is actually freedom under attack. Fundamental rights being pressured by the far right and right now, as we see it. And we have green people all across Europe fighting these fights every day. But when we come together as a family as well, and we show that we stand shoulder by shoulder, we can actually make a difference. And Vula was talking about Budapest, and I can say that for somebody who have been to prides all over Europe for years, even though I don't look old, I am. The pride in Budapest this year were amazing. To see a population taking the streets for rights for a minority and saying, no, you cannot cancel us. That was really something I will carry with me for a very, very long time. But as I said, there's some green stars out there fighting every day, and one of them could not be here today, unfortunately, because he's fighting a fight in Budapest as it is. But as a fanboy, I'm really happy to be able to welcome on video Karácsony from Budapest, the mayor, who is doing an amazing job, but also a mayor who needs us and who needs to know that we are just beside him, just behind him, every day of his struggle. So first video message to see is from Karácsony from Budapest.
Nagyon szeretnék most veletek lenni a gyönyörű Lisszabonban, de sajnos az a pénzügyi és politikai helyzet, ami van Budapesten, az arra kényszerít, hogy itthon maradjak. De nagyon szeretnék szólni hozzátok. Elsősorban nagyon szeretném megköszönni az Európai Zöldek támogatását, amit az elmúlt években kaptam, és különösen azt a támogatást, amit a Budapest Pride ügye kapcsán kaptam tőletek. Nagyon fontos volt a szolidaritás, az Európai Zöldek támogatása, az európai barátaink támogatása, mert ez bátorította fel a budapestieket, hogy ne csak egyszerűen a legnagyobb Budapest Pride-ot szervezzük meg minden tiltás és megfélemlítés ellenére, hanem a legnagyobb politikai rendezvényt Magyarországon a rendszerváltás óta. A város akkor egy napra mindenképpen felszabadult, és egy óriási felszabadulás élmény volt az egész ország számára, és reméljük, hogy ez a felszabadulás hamarosan a parlamenti választáson is érvényesülni fog. Nagyon fontos, hogy a városvezetők kiálljanak Európa minden pontján az emberi jogokért. Nagyon fontos, hogy a városvezetők a helyi közösség szolgálójaként ne hagyják, hogy a politika az az uralkodás világa legyen, hanem a szolgálaté. És nagyon fontos, hogy a városok valóban a demokrácia fontos színterei kell, hogy legyenek. Ennek kapcsán sokat beszélünk arról, hogy a városok a demokrácia védőbástyái, a városok a demokrácia szigetei. És tudom, hogy nagyon sokan Európában, az európai barátaink, akik aggódnak a magyar demokráciáért, Budapestre is úgy tekintenek, mint a magyar demokrácia szigetére. Én egy dologra szeretném felhívni a figyelmeteket ezzel kapcsolatosan. A populisták imádják a megosztottságot. Imádják azt, hogy a politikát nem a helyes és a helytelen dolgokra kell ketté választani, hanem a politika arról szól, hogy vannak mi és vannak ők, hogy megosztják a társadalmi csoportokat. És hogyha mi demokraták, zöldek, akik elkötelezettek vagyunk amellett, hogy az emberi jogoknak és a demokráciának mindenhol érvényesülnie kell, belemegyünk abba a játékba, hogy ezeknek az értékeknek a szigeteivé válnak a városok, akkor valójában a populisták receptkönyvét követjük. Akkor eljátsszuk a ránk osztott szerepet, hogy vannak az igazi hazafi emberek vidéken, és vannak a városlakók, akik más értékeket képviselnek, és tovább erősítjük a megosztottságot a hazánkban. Szerintem nagyon fontos, hogy a városok, a helyi kormányzás nem a demokrácia erődítményei vagy várai, hanem a laboratóriumok. Laboratóriumok egy olyan politikához, ahol sokkal több embert be tudunk vonni a döntéseinkbe. Laboratóriumok ahhoz, hogy olyan demokratikus működést valósítsunk meg, ami valóban a hétköznapi emberek hétköznapi problémáinak a megoldásáról szól. hogy az emberek érezzék azt, hogy a politikai döntések róluk szólnak, és értük történnek meg. Éppen ezért a demokrácia laboratóriumában azt kell keresnünk, hogy hogyan tudjuk visszaadni az emberek hitét abban, hogy valóban a politika szólhat az ő életükről is. A mostani generációkról és a következő generációkról is. Hogyha így járunk el, akkor a városi kormányzás, a zöld és progresszív városvezetők, azok egy új receptet adnak egy olyan inkluzív demokráciához, ami egész Európában meg tudja erősíteni az emberek hitét, hogy van még értelme politikával foglalkozni, és van értelme leváltani azokat a populista vezetőket, akik megosztják az embereket, kisajátítják a hatalmat, ahelyett, hogy megosztanák, és minél több embert részesítenének benne. Nagyon szépen köszönöm tehát, hogy támogattatok minket ebben a küzdelemben. Most éppen évvége felé borzasztó pénzügyi problémák megoldásán kell dolgoznunk, de remélem, hogy ez is sikerülni fog. Az biztos, hogy érzem az Európai Zöld Közösség támogatását és szolidaritását, és nagyon büszke vagyok, hogy ehhez a csapathoz tartozom.
I think what we have to understand when we see these strong and hear these strong words from Kajoni is that he's a fighter, yes, but he's also a face of the Hungarian people who are fighting back at what Orban is doing to the country and to Europe. And there are activists every day in Hungary who is being attacked by the government and their allies. So as Kajoni is a strong face for the Greens and he's fighting for the city and for the people, we also have to remember all the activists who every day do their job, and we have to be there for them as well, not just for the Greens, but for all the people fighting for democracy across Europe. As you can perhaps see, I have the task of introducing video messages, but we have some more because there's another person who unfortunately could not be here today, but is equally as important when we talk about freedom in Europe. And that is looking, of course, to Istanbul. So I'm very pleased to present here the video message from İmamoğlu from Istanbul, also strong politician that has really been facing oppression from a government. And what we have to understand is that these government who are putting a pressure on democracy, on activists, on human rights, they're standing close together. So what we can do to fight them is standing even closer together, beside them and behind them. So, next message, please.
Sayın Başkan, değerli meslektaşlarım, sevgili dostlar, size İstanbul'dan sesleniyorum. İmparatorluklar, depremler, siyasi fırtınalar yaşamış ama hala yenilenmeye inanan şehrimiz bize şu gerçeği hatırlatır. Ortak geleceğimizi ya birlikte inşa edeceğiz ya da bir geleceğimiz olmayacak. Avrupa'nın sınandığı bir dönemdeyiz. İklim şoklarıyla, eşitsizlikle, korkuya dayalı siyasetle, göçmenleri, azınlıkları ve farklı düşünenleri hedef alan nefret söylemleriyle karşı karşıyayız. Baskılar sınır tanımıyor, dayanışmamız da tanımamalı. Hepimiz aynı sorularla karşı karşıyayız. Dünyadaki tüm toplumlar içine kapanırken açık toplumu nasıl savunacağız? Vatandaşlarımız seslerini duyuramadıklarını hissettiğinde güveni nasıl yeniden inşa edeceğiz? Yalnızca bugünün gücünü ve karını önemseyen teknoloji devleriyle otokratların ittifakından gezegenimizi nasıl koruyacağız? Türkiye'de bu sorular soyut değil. Yaşadıklarım, yargının siyasetin bir aracına dönüştüğünde demokrasinin ne kadar da kırılganlaştığını gösteriyor. Bugün cezaevindeyim. Cezası yüzyıllarca hapis olan gerçek dışı iddialarla suçlanıyorum. Ancak milyonlarca yurttaş barışçıl bir şekilde buna tepki gösteriyor. Korkuyu reddediyorlar, kutuplaşmayı reddediyorlar. Onların cesareti bana her gün umut veriyor. Fakat umut eyleme dönüşmeli. İhtiyacımız olan gerçekten kapsayıcı bir Avrupa ve Türkiye. Herkesin adalete güvenebildiği bir düzen. Yeşil dönüşümün güvenlik, adalet ve fırsat ürettiği bir gelecek. Ve göçmenlerin pazarlık malzemesi değil, insan olduğunu hatırlatan bir siyaset kültürü. unutmamalıyız. Çevresel gelecek ile demokratik gelecek aynı mücadelenin parçası. İnsanlar dışlandığında yüz çevirir, değer gördüklerinde bu mücadeleye katılırlar. Sosyal adalet ve iklim adaleti birbirinden ayrılamaz. Değerli dostlar, bu kongrede Gazze ve daha geniş Orta Doğu'daki trajedi de ele alınacak. Bunun için sizlere teşekkür ediyorum. Gazze'de yaşananlar, işgal altındaki halk, açlığın silah olarak kullanılması, öldürülen gazeteciler, dünyanın vicdanında derin bir yara. Oysa barış cesaret ister. İnsanlığı savunma cesareti, hesap verebilirliği talep etme cesareti ve sadece silahların susmasına değil, kalıcı barışa yönelme cesareti. Böylesine çalkantılı bir bölgede kalıcı barış için Avrupa ile Türkiye'nin demokratik güçleri arasında daha güçlü bir işbirliğine ihtiyacımız var. Çünkü geleceğimiz birbirine bağlı. Enerjide, göçte, güvenlikte, çocuklarımızın sosyal hayatını şekillendirecek teknolojilerde. Şehirler bu yolda önce olabilir. Belediyeler, siyasi partiler, sivil toplum ve yurttaşlardan oluşan ağlar, ulusal siyasetin çoğu zaman başaramadığını, yani güveni inşa edebilir. Ortak cesaret çağı şimdi başlıyor. Hukukun üstünlüğü ve kapsayıcılık için cesaret, daha yeşil ve daha adil bir gelecek için cesaret. Başından beri bana gösterdiğiniz dayanışma, sesiniz ve desteğiniz için teşekkür ederim. Aynı zamanda adil ve sürdürülebilir bir Avrupa için verdiğiniz çaba için de teşekkür ederim.
Thank you. And what this really shows us is what happened when oppression comes from autocratic political voices. Because here was a message read up by the wife of Imamoglu, because he's in prison. And that's the real fight that many of our friends are facing around Europe and around the world right now. So the theme right now is being loud for freedom. And I hope we can be as loud, both in words, but also in energy level and in our love we're sending to these people, because they need us and we need them to create a better world, create a better Europe, a more free Europe. We need that. Now I would like to invite Vula up for the next part of the Loud for Freedom.
I would like very, very briefly to introduce the next speakers coming from Serbia and from Georgia. They are two candidate countries for the European Union. We should not really forget that. And what's going on there, and we will hear directly from them, it is a permanent fight when it comes to the governments, authoritarian governments. They demonstrate in the streets. They suffer every day with threats. There is an erosion of their rights and of their dignity. There is media freedom suppression and political prisoners. There is a lot of mobilization, because through this mobilization, they try to keep the attention to their causes. Despite the fact that both are candidate countries, I mean, especially when it comes to Serbia, because this is a long story, the attention and the condemnation of the European institutions are very low. I cannot say the same for the European Parliament, because in the European Parliament, there have been very strong resolutions against the regime of Vučić. But at the same time, Vučić is still immune, because he's part still of the biggest family in the European Parliament of the EPP. And I would like to see in Strasbourg what it will happen when, in the shorted list of the Sakharov Prize winners, even if they have not won the Sakharov Prize, but they are shortlisted, they will be also the Serbians and the movement from Serbia in the European Parliament. And I would like to see them in front of the family of Manfred Weber, because I believe this is really a big embarrassment, and it is time for the political family, but also for the European institutions to raise their voice. So with a lot of honor and emotion, I would like immediately to welcome you, Biljana Đorđević, who is the party leader of the ZLF, and we met under difficult circumstances. We continue our cooperation, and as I said before, you can count fully in our support and attention. So, Biljana. Following by two voices, extraordinary voices from Georgia, Levan, who is, now the pronunciation, good luck, so Levan Tsutskiridze, who is the chairperson of Freedom Square, represents a movement that he stood in protest over 330 days without interruption. Please take a seat and you will follow. But also Sopho Verdzeuli. I'm really sorry. I mean, a lot of people try to instruct me, but without chances. Apologies for that. Who is the co-founder of the Movement for Social Democracy, which stands every day, fights, and as you said, the answer when it comes to authoritarianism must be one word, which is solidarity. Thank you very much, and you start, and then the other two come on the floor. Please take the floor, and I go back. Thank you.
Dear fellow Greens, it's been more than a year since the recently reconstructed canopy of the railway station in Novi Sad collapsed, killing 16 people. A few of us who are with you today in Lisbon were the first to protest, throwing red paint on the government building to mark the regime's bloody hands, a symbol of lives lost to corruption. These days, students are marking anniversary of the occupations of their faculties. What began as protest of opposition and activists gained new momentum when a new generation took to the streets. They organized the biggest demonstration in Serbian recent history, marching across the country, cycling and running to Strasbourg and Brussels to ask for solidarity. Those of us who have long been in the struggle for democracy, social justice, public goods, and equality, and I want to remind you that the Green Left Front was born from grassroots activism and resistance to Vučić regime, knew exactly what is the power we were confronting. Students had to learn by themselves that the regime would not concede a single step because the survival of it depends on concealing injustice, abusing power, and increasing repression. Yet together, as citizens, we proved something essential to ourselves, to Europe, and to the world, that there exists rebellious Serbia who is not afraid, a Serbia that rejects violence, that resists autocracy, that refuses corruption. Green Left Front is very proud that it has been part of this struggle. And in the past year, we showed that we can speak for citizens in national, provincial, and local parliaments, no matter how repressive and criminalized they have become, that we will not surrender public institutions nor public spaces without a fight, that we will be present at every protest, that we can provide legal support to those arrested, detained, or fired, that we can mobilize the international community, especially with the support of the European Greens. Thank you. that we can run door-to-door campaigns even when we do not participate in local elections, that we can endure the tensions, threats, and physical attacks without giving up. But this is not the struggle of a single party. It is a struggle of a system that has captured institutions, resources, and even the minds of people, spreading the lie that activists like ourselves who enter politics then become dirty politicians, while those who amassed wealth and power are supposedly those speaking for the people. Our struggle is to dismantle a system built on propaganda, fear, and apathy, and to build one grounded in democratization, equality, respect, accountability, and truth. 1 year later, unfortunately, we still haven't won. That is frustrating, I must say. But we have preserved hope, we have gained experience, and we have built a belief in ourselves that a credible alternative is possible. And we know that there are no guarantees, but with solidarity that exists, with friendship and determination, we will continue to fight this cause bigger than ourselves. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. We are very honored to be here and very happy to have made it here, given the circumstances in Georgia. And we are very thankful and grateful, for we have heard your words of support in Georgia, your encouragement and your solidarity, and that means a lot for every single democracy fighter in Georgia who is right now out in the streets protesting for more than a year already, every single day. So I want to give them a big shout out from here, please. Thank you. I want to tell you 3 things about what's going on in Georgia, 3 things about why it's not going to succeed, and 3 things why we are going to prevail. So, what's happening? First of all, this is the attack of a sociopathic, oligarchic regime on freedom. This is what it is. We have to face it. We have to call its name. These people hate Georgian citizens. These people hate freedom. These people hate solidarity and civil society. This is what is taking place. These are the people who, by recent, very credible investigative reports, sprayed World War I chemical substances on people. This is the kind of regime that we are facing. Second, this is the attack of corruption on the rule of law, attack of corruption on freedom, on equality. Because what we are seeing is a big attempt by the Georgian Dream to consolidate its power so it can steal and it can rob without any accountability and without any responsibility towards the citizens. And the third one, this is the attack on Europe. This is the attack on European values. This is the attack on European way of life, aspirations of people, and the opportunity of people to succeed in life and to make Europe seem weak, feeble, and easily defeatable. So this shall not succeed. And I will tell you why it will not succeed. Number one, the regime that is perpetrating it does not have democratic legitimacy, does not have legitimacy of whatever kind. They have lost parliamentary elections, and since then, they're not enjoying the support of key groups of society. So there is no legitimacy. Number two, there is no international legitimacy. And that also matters because countries, especially like Georgia, they need international community to thrive, develop, to keep their place in it. And they're isolated as ever. And the third one, and I think it's the most important one, they have lost moral legitimacy to govern. Georgian Dream is a party that still relies on intimidation, repression, fear, but they cannot succeed without these three types of legitimacy. So why we will succeed? We will succeed because this is the first fight when people have come out in the streets to protect constitution, to protect the idea of democracy, and to protect without single leaders. There are many leaders in this fight. They are coordinating, they're doing their work, but we are still the modern, capable, self-reliant civil society that no longer needs to be told where to go, how to organize, how to fight. We have learned how to do this, and I think this is the great thing. Number three, we will succeed because we are not afraid. These regimes rely on fear. They want everybody to be afraid. They want people to be scared not to come out. They want people not to be able to speak up. However, despite the repressions, despite terror, despite violence, despite very heavy fines imposed on people, we are out there still waging this battle. We are not afraid, and they cannot scare us. And number three, we have shown how powerful the idea of democracy is. People are uniting behind the idea. Georgia is a strong democratic society now under assault from a very tiny political group that wants to capture the state. But Georgia is a democratic civil society. We're showing that, and Georgia will emerge as a democratic, strong democratic powerhouse in the South Caucasus very soon. And finally, three things it will bring to all of us. Number one, once we succeed, we will have shown and learned how to defeat Putin-style authoritarianism by political means. And this is quite something, I should say. And that will be a big experience that can be shared and everyone can benefit from it. Number two, it will benefit entire Europe. It will benefit geopolitics, it will benefit security, it will benefit the spread of ideas of democracy and freedom, and it will prove that democracy still has power and it can fight back. And I think that moral, intangible part of the struggle is very, very important for everybody present here or elsewhere. My friends and colleagues, political party leaders, journalists, poets, writers, Zia Maglobeli, Zuia Duratiani, my colleagues from political party leadership, many of them are in jail. Georgia now has surpassed Russia in terms of political prisoners per capita. But the people are still out there. People are still fighting. And I should say this, in 1974, what happened in Portugal inaugurated not only a transformation on the national level, but a big democratic wave across entire continent. And I think what will happen in Georgia, we don't know when it will be, but I'm absolutely certain that it will happen, will initiate a big regional transformation where freedom and democracy will prevail. Thank you very much.
Dear members of the European Green family, it is an honor for me to stand here today in front of you and speak on behalf of the Movement for Social Democracy, which is a new political force in Georgia that combines progressive and green values. Georgia once was a frontrunner in the region, but now we are facing a consolidated authoritarian regime with dozens of political prisoners, including famous female journalist Zia Maglobeli, political leaders, opposition leaders jailed, leaders of civil society organizations under criminal investigation, independent media outlets at risk of being shut down. 1 year ago, brave Georgian people filled the streets of Tbilisi to defend European path of Georgia. But Georgian Dream government responded with a brutal police force, beaten up protesters, peaceful protesters, and allegedly used dangerous chemical agents to disperse the protest. But as we see, despite all these violent practices, people refuse to surrender. The government could not silence the protest. And as I speak here today, people still continue across the country to protest against the anti-European, anti-democratic, and anti-social policies of the Georgian dream, which becomes increasingly violent at the same time. Courageous Georgian mothers from a beautiful village Balda are spending their nights outdoors to protect their village from the private corporation which aims to destroy the village to build an entertainment park there. Brave Georgian miners are spending nights to defend their hometown from the private corporation which puts profit over the people and the environment, and which exploits our natural resources and our environment. And citizens in Tbilisi are now protesting against the foreign investment, which aims to build so-called mega-city project in Tbilisi, which will definitely destroy the living environment of our communities. When we look at all these struggles, one thing is clear for us, that political, economic, social, and environmental injustices are deeply interconnected with one goal, just to benefit as small people in power, while the rest of the community face poverty, inequality, insecurity, and even fear of losing the country we once imagined. That's why we think that in the era which is marked by rising authoritarianism, far-right extremism, anti-gender, anti-social, anti-democratic agendas, we should admit that green, progressive politics cannot be separated. They belong together, and we should unite. Democratic forces from different fronts should unite. As authoritarian rulers adapt quickly, learn quickly, they reinforce one another, we should do the same. We should set a new agenda for international solidarity across Europe and across the globe. We ask here, my colleagues and I from the movement, to recognize the battle of courageous Georgian people, to share the stories of incredible solidarities that we witness on the ground, to help us to spread the message that this is not only our fight in Georgia, this is our common fight. And we must never forget that while brave Ukrainian people defend not only on their homeland, but the whole Europe with their lives, there are people across Europe who defend democracy, not only for their own, but for the whole Europe. And saying this, I want to express my solidarity to the people coming from Hungary, Turkey, Serbia, and many other places. Our contexts may differ, but we all have a profound thing in common. We are trying to defend, we are protecting that belongs to us, our countries, our dignity, our resources, and our voices. That's one thing that we all have in common, and therefore we must strengthen the bonds in our common struggle. And I would say, from Lisbon to Tbilisi, we must act as one because we know the truth, that no one is free until everyone is free. Thank you.
There is a missing chair. One was for me, but you see me too much, so I decided to go down. But the other one was for Dmitry Kuchuk, practically our former leader of the Belarussian Greens was not able to join us today. He cannot be here because the regime is still blocking his visa. And when Dmitry was liberated in exchange of prisoners, the 11th of September 2025, we have contacted him. The committee decided that we had absolutely to give the opportunity to see him here and to describe his experience, but also to show him our full solidarity. We had already met him, and online he was really planning to be with us in this setting, which of course it is not the easiest one, because we know very well what's going on with the regime in Belarusia. But nevertheless, we will have a momentum for him, because we own him our full solidarity, and also he knows that we are thinking about him and we are thinking about what's going on in his country. But we are very grateful that Anastasia Dorofieva and Irina Suku, well-known members of the Belarusian Greens, are here to receive the flowers for him. So please, we welcome you. And with that, I would like to thank you all. And with that, I would like to say that we will continue to stand with you, we will continue to fight with you, and we will continue to do everything possible to protect democracy and freedom. Thank you.